Mental Health, the Up&Up. We're trying to make mental health care clear, helpful, and maybe even fun. We're chatting with licensed therapists, but this is not therapy. These are simply thoughts and ideas for you to discuss with your own therapist and to help you on your journey of complete wellness. Okay, hello and welcome back. We hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving, and let's see, you're staying warm because it's that time of year. We are back with another holiday special, I think is what we're going to call it. And we're going to be discussing today whether Santa Claus exists and whether and about let's see
how to
how to express it to you.
to kids, especially. It kind of came to me because some parents say, how can I lie to my kids and say, talk about Santa Claus? We should probably do a spoiler alert on this in case, 5-year-olds are listening. Maybe not. But it is like, what is the truth about Santa? Is it a lie to say someone is going to come down the chimney? And kind of the metaphor of that versus the factual truth. Is that a term?
The spirit of it versus the actual tangible facts.
Yeah. So yeah, is Santa Claus real? Do you remember believing in Santa Claus, Anna?
Not really. So my maiden name was Kringle, Kringle.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So my perspective as a kid on Santa Claus was very different because we got all the jokes of, oh, well, put in a good word for me with Saint Nick,
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, we always kind of had that fractured belief because we knew we weren't Santa Claus. Obviously, this is silly.
Yeah.
I do remember the first time I caught my grandparents and my parents moving presents under the tree. Because I remember waking up and just seeing through the crack of the door them walking by with the boxes and everything, and just going, okay, so that's what happened. I do remember that. That was probably around 6-ish years old.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I'm an atypical case because I had the name association, and regardless.
And you weren't traumatized when you saw your parents moving presents?
No, I felt really cool about it. Like, haha! Now I know the secrets.
I'm old enough. Yeah. I do remember. There are a couple of memories I have from my childhood that, as an adult, they're like, oh, that's why they did that. What I remember is waking up Christmas morning, and we had stairs with a door at the bottom, and we couldn't open the door until we were given the go ahead.
Okay.
And then you came out into the living room, and there was a big present for each kid from Santa Claus, and it wasn't wrapped.
Oh.
But you knew which one was yours, depending on what you had asked for or what you liked. Like, I really wanted an easy bake oven. My brother really wanted a drum set. I knew the drum set was for him, not for me.
Right.
And I remember as a kid, even after I knew it was my mom and dad, that is so cool that you walk out and you know exactly what your present is. And then I realized, you know what? They were probably too exhausted to wrap all those presents.
But it didn't break the magic of the moment for you.
No,
I love that.
Yeah. The other one that has nothing to do with Christmas is every once in a while we would have pancakes for pancakes for dinner. And I was so excited. Oh, what a cool idea. And then I realized my mom was either too tired to cook or out of food.
Yep.
It's like, I can make pancakes. And she just said, we're having breakfast for dinner instead of, we don't, I didn't go shopping.
Yeah. Making it fun.
Yeah. So typically, parents do talk to their kids about things like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy and
Mhm.
all these things that technically, as adults, aren't tangibly true,
Mhm.
maybe. Um, and then as adults, we realize it's more about the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of giving and the spirit of joy.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily a person who climbs down your chimney, and there are so many houses without chimneys. I don't know how the chimney thing survived as part of the story.
Yeah, apartment complexes are actually a pretty old function.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to. Boy, it's been a long time. I don't think we had a chimney, or if we did, it was like an old. We didn't have a fireplace, so we might have had like an old chimney. But it's like,
So I
where
do
did I think?
know I do know that in Germany, at least in, let's see, the 40s ish, because that's when my German teacher grew up. The legend she was taught was that he came to your window, or you left your shoes outside the front door and he put
Yeah.
it in your shoes. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know where the chimney part specifically came from. So that part of the legend, but it's definitely stuck and held on for a long time, huh?
Mhm. I also was just listening actually to a podcast about like the history of Santa Claus, and it's actually really
Mm-hmm.
interesting that um, the nostalgia that we all think about Santa Claus really didn't have a specific um, like it does. It's not like a big hundreds and hundreds of years historic. Um,
In what way? Explain.
I think you want to cut this out because I can't remember exactly what the podcast was saying, and I think I'm getting two podcasts mixed up. I'm definitely getting two podcasts mixed up. Oh, I know. Okay. I don't know whether you want to keep this in or not. So I was listening to this podcast. They were talking about Miracle on 34th Street
Hmm.
and how, the story of that movie, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, was that the person playing Santa Claus in the department store ended up actually being Santa Claus.
Hmm.
Um, so they were talking about the magic of that. And then they started talking about how in that movie, the single mother and her daughter lived in an apartment building and knew all their neighbors. And their
Hmm.
goal was to move into a house in the suburbs, which it was much more isolated.
Yeah,
So it was actually a better community living in an apartment building where you could rely on your neighbors and drop your kid off. I got to run to the store. Can you watch my kid? And
that's
it's
true.
harder to do that in the suburbs. So just that sense of more community, our dream of living, our historic dream of living in a house in the suburbs, maybe wasn't the healthiest way to get a sense of community.
That's a really interesting perspective. That's fun.
Yeah, yeah,
And a very good point.
yeah. Because I think we do need community.
Hmm.
But going back to the story, Miracle on 34th Street, um, where the cynical mom is there, like, there's no Santa Claus, don't believe in dreams, be
Hmm.
practical. And then Santa Claus ends up really being Santa Claus. And then there's a famous letter, I think it was like in the 1930s or something, that a little girl wrote to the newspaper saying, asking like the editor of the paper,
Hmm.
is there a Santa Claus? And that's yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And it does talk about the spirit of, giving and family and being together and helping each other. And it ends, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
Hmm.
So again, the difference between that spirit and the actual tangible, is there a Santa Claus?
Hmm.
So, Anna, I'm just curious, putting you on the spot like I do so often. Do you think it's lying to a child if you say there's a man in a red suit with a white beard and reindeer pull his sleigh?
I think that it can, like all things, can be taken to an unhealthy extreme, which I know is a very safe answer to give. But I think in general, it's it's a make believe that's just fun to play out.
Hmm.
And for me as a kid, that was how I always viewed it. It was like, oh, this is the make believe that we have this whole story that we all make believe play in
Oh,
as a
again,
big
that,
family thing.
yeah. Or
This was
that
part
even
of the yeah
community. Yeah.
yeah. This was
Yeah.
part of the community building. Is that we're all pretending that Santa Claus is going to come in 10 days time and he's going to come down the chimney and do all these things. And so it wasn't so much a lie as a story that we tell, a theater production, a playing make believe, playing house, playing whatever you call it in your family
Hmm.
together.
Yeah.
So
I,
so I guess the short answer is no. I don't think that this is lying and a bad thing.
yeah.
Again, all things in their perspective.
And I think there's that natural age where you don't have to tell a child there isn't a Santa Claus. They kind of come to understand that. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
many 16-year-olds who believe there's a tangible Santa Claus.
Yeah.
But coming from a more mental health viewpoint,
Mm-hmm.
it's speaking to children in the language they understand. Children aren't concrete at that age.
Mm.
So to say to children, it's a good thing to be kind and it's a bad thing to not be kind,
Mm-hmm.
you can't explain that to them logically, but they do understand stories. So
Mm.
a
Okay.
lot of we communicate a lot of things to children through stories. If you eat your spinach, you'll grow big and strong muscles.
Yeah.
If you uh, go ahead.
That makes it sound like children are more concrete, which is why there's such a problem or a communication error. They need something concrete of if you eat your spinach, you'll get big
Ah,
muscles versus the
gotcha.
abstract concept of if you eat good food for you, your body will be healthy.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll have to think of that word. But yeah, the idea is yes, in order to understand that, they understand things in a different way as adults,
Mm-hmm.
which is also why when I talk to parents, when parents say to a kid, you can play on your game for 10 more minutes, or we're leaving in a half
Mm-hmm.
hour, they don't get that. But if you say, um, I was going to say, we'll leave when the big hand hits 12, which nobody has clocks like that anymore.
When I come out wearing my shoes, it's time to go.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
you can play, or we will leave in about the time it takes you to watch Mr. Rogers, which is
Right.
about a half hour. They
Yeah.
get that. They don't get, you're right. I think it is more concrete. They need something tangible.
Time time the way that we use it in society is a very very abstract concept,
Yeah.
and especially once you get into time zones and travel time
Oh,
versus oh my gosh, it's
yeah.
I know adults that still struggle with it, but it's very abstract. So no, putting it to something more tangible of
Hmm.
once your episode is done, then it will be time to leave.
Hmm.
Once you finish all of your mashed potatoes, then we
You
can
can
pack
leave
up.
too. Hmm.
Yeah, whatever it is.
You can play your game until mom's done washing the dishes, which takes
Exactly.
about 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I've never considered it a lie. I've considered it more like you're trying to get that concept across to children in a way that they actually understand. And
Mm-hmm.
it is more metaphor, I suppose, but now I'm really thinking maybe it is more concrete. Um, and we say that like we blow kids kisses,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's not a thing. A kiss doesn't actually fly through the air,
Right.
but they get that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, uh, you know, uh, even saying, um, uh, my adult daughter and I, we buy each other hearts, things shaped like hearts. But it started with when she first moved out of the house. I bought her and I the same heart, like little metal hanging thing. We
Hmm.
both hung them in our houses, and that meant we were always together.
Yeah.
Okay, technically, we're not all, we're not in the same room,
Right.
but if looking at that heart when she's feeling sad reminds her
Yeah.
that her mother loves her, or if me, when I'm missing her, I look at that heart and think we're together, it's that message that that hanging heart helps us remember. And
Mm-hmm.
that's more how I think about Santa Claus, is that's a a way to help kids understand it's important to be good. If
Mm.
you're good, you get rewarded. And I know with Christmas it's more rewarded with toys, but I think in general, if we're good, hopefully we are rewarded with good feelings and good friends and good relationships and things like
Yeah.
that. So, but yeah,
Again,
you
it's having that something that you can actually identify, and for children, I know I really liked this toy and I did good things and I got the toy, so it's a very tangible
reminder maybe.
reminder, I think, or affirmation.
Hmm.
So.
I heard a phrase too, and I'm trying to remember this, and I think this relates. Be careful of what you do because it'll become a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful of your habits because they become your character.
Mm.
And I think there's one more step in there, but it basically is, what you do becomes who you are slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And that can be a bad thing, of course, but that's also a good thing. If you
Yeah.
create that habit of being good because you believe that's a happy thing that brings
Mm-hmm.
rewards, then that becomes your habit and that becomes your character, which is what we want to teach children.
Mm-hmm.
And you can teach them through Santa Claus, and it's really hard to teach a 4-year-old, yeah, that very abstract concept of, we need to be kind to other human beings because other human beings exist.
I think about this one a lot because I have a couple of nephews that are special needs. They're autistic Asperger's on that side,
Mm-hmm.
and when you just say "be kind,"
Mm.
okay, what does that even mean? Well, it
Mm-hmm.
means that you say please, you say thank you. Oh, well, they can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
It means that you share your toys. If someone says, "Hey, can I borrow that?" If you don't have a good reason to not, go ahead and let them borrow it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's giving them those tangible. My cousin and I talk about this all the time, of social rules of what you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do, and she struggles with them too as an adult. She's like, I don't know why everyone's mad at me when I came and I participated and I did the things, and now everyone's telling me that I was rude and I was blah blah blah. And it's
Mm.
because there's a lot of those concepts of, well, you were rude. What does rude mean? Does it
Mm.
mean I farted and didn't say excuse me? Does it mean I took something that you wanted and didn't say, oh, I beg your pardon? Like,
Mm-hmm. I didn't
what?
smile enough. I
I
didn't
didn't
look into your
smile enough. I
eyes. I
smiled
did
too
look into your eye.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And those are things that I think everyone thinks what they believe about it is what everybody believes about
Yes.
it. How much to smile, how much to talk to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent big gathering I went to, there were a lot of people there I wanted to talk to. I didn't get to talk to
Yeah.
everyone. And I actually said to my daughter, I said, "Oh, I felt rude. I didn't get to talk to so and so and so and so." She goes, "They knew it was a big party too.
Yeah.
They know there were a lot of people there too,
It really
so
helps to have that person with the common sense of, okay, it's okay. Like, they
yes.
were also participating in this large
Yeah,
party and they didn't make it
yeah,
to you either.
yeah. But I think a lot of times people think we learn by concept and then action. And I think
Yeah.
more we learn by that action first.
Good
We
observe.
teach kids to say please and thank you, and we know they don't mean it, or I'm sorry, and they're like, I'm sorry. Now can I have my candy? Um, but again, it's that behavior that we're teaching them that then becomes
Yeah,
habit, that then becomes character. Yeah.
absolutely. I
So
really like that observe a lot. So applying this all back to Santa Claus.
Yeah, which is what we started talking about. What, you and I ramble?
No.
Nah.
So I think the short answer that we've come up with is that it is not lying to talk about Santa Claus as if he's real, because the concepts of what he stands for are very real.
Hmm.
And we use the personification. I'm making this sound very collegiate, sorry. The personification of all of
Yes.
these things of kindness, goodness, gift giving, spreading love and cheer and being gracious, all of those things, and accountability, because you have the naughty list.
Yeah.
He's the personification of all of these things, and we use the idea of Santa Claus as a tool to center our families, not even just the kids, but center our families on the things that we really
Mhm.
want to focus on
Yeah.
and remind ourselves of every year.
Yeah. I really love the tradition of leaving milk and cookies out for Santa and carrots out for the reindeer.
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a good lesson. Here is this person bringing you presents, but
And
think about it.
they're working
He's
really
probably
hard.
tired. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So to be grateful, and again, I see it more as speaking to children in a way that they understand. You're right. They're not going to understand vitamins make you healthier in general.
Right.
They might understand eating this is going to give you big muscles,
Yeah. It'll
or
make you run faster, like your cool shoes.
yes, yes. So yeah, Santa Claus. Yes, Anna, there is a Santa Claus.
For more resources, shop at www.upandupwellness.com and hit that subscribe button. If you are in crisis and struggling right now, the national hotline is 988, and they can help you any time of the day or night.